Iconostar Productions, in cooperation with Actors for Change, presents...
Tall as a mountain, and my hopes can reach to the sky. And my strength is my desire, and my dreams can help me fly. And the twistings of each road I'm on make me open up my eyes. Joy and sorrow are awaiting me at each turn as they arise.
Each Turn by Bill Olson. Starring John Townsend as Jeff Adams. Episode 8, Pawns and Battle Lines.
No, Jeff, don't move your rook there. I'll capture it with my knight.
You're not supposed to tell him that, Gordon. He's your opponent.
He's my friend, Monica. Anyway, Jeff helps me when we play Monopoly. Right, Jeff? No, you can't reposition it now. You took your hand off it.
If you're going to help him, Gordon, the least you could do is suspend the rules. That's what Jeff does with Monopoly.
Well, chess is a different game.
A different game, he says as he sadly watches the knight take his rook.
Yeah, and now that his knight is out of my way, my bishop can take his queen.
Thanks. You're a real friend, Jeff.
That is the way the game is played. Pawn takes pawn, knight takes pawn takes knight, knight says good night.
Unfortunately, neither of us is good enough at this game for it to make a difference. I can't think that far in advance. Too many permutations.
I have the same problem, Gordon. That's why we do good together. We have equal inabilities.
I feel a little unequal at the moment, pal. I can't seem to find a way to protect my king now that you've captured my queen.
If the only thing protecting your king was one piece, you are a goner anyway.
So, Jeff, do I get to play the winner?
Well, you're just too good.
So you're afraid? Oh, man. You know, there's one thing worse than winning too easily, and that's being forced to watch all the time. You know, I'd like to play too. I don't like being discriminated against because I'm better than you guys. Besides, how are you ever going to improve if you don't play someone challenging?
Maybe we like being losers.
If you were a loser, Gordon, you wouldn't joke about it.
I'm not a loser, Jeff. Neither of you are.
Maybe I value being a loser. Maybe I come from a place where it's a virtue to not show up the other guy.
I can understand that. My experiences with competition were all negative.
Well, I never had negative experiences with competition, but where I grew up, friendship was extremely important.
What about family?
Family, now that was a very different sort of thing. It was believed that love blinded a person too much, so if you loved your partner, you never admitted it. You even repressed it. You tried to keep your head clear so you could be reasonable.
Gordon has done a good job of overcoming that. He loves me, and he's the most unreasonable man I've ever known.
Ha, ha, ha.
I've never known anyone who seemed more happy together than you two, except for this gay couple I knew in college. I haven't had a date for years, and when I remember my ex-girlfriend, I'm kind of glad I'm alone. But when I think of Jack and Murphy and you two, I can see what I'm missing.
You don't want a boyfriend, Jeff, do you?
Man, Gordon, what a homophobe.
I'm not a homophobe, it's just that men are so damn ugly.
Now you know what we women have to put up with, except for lesbians.
You'd asked me a question.
I don't know if I want the answer.
See? You are a homophobe. I'm engaged to a homophobe.
You're engaged now?
I'm not a homophobe.
Everyone's getting married but me.
Why would you want to get married? Gay couples can't get tax breaks.
Man, you're terrible, Gordon.
Now you sound like a homophobe. Don't hit me.
Why do I sound like a homophobe?
Because you think calling Jeff gay is an insult.
But You're right.
See? I've got it right in the palm of my hand.
I still haven't answered your question.
What was the question?
Do I want a boyfriend?
I'm not sure I want an answer.
Too bad, because here it is. I think more guys than gals are homely, but then there's guys like Jay Davidson from The Crying Game, who happens to be the most beautiful creature alive.
Uh-oh, Jeff's in love.
Well, I do think I'd have better luck with men than women.
You're overly romanticizing homosexuality, Jeff. No pun intended. Gays have the same problems in relationships that straight people have.
That's a given, Monica. They're people, after all.
Well, this is a turnaround.
I'm not a homophobe. I just get nauseous by thinking of kissing a man.
But that nausea is the phobia, you see?
Oh. I guess I mean I'm not bigoted.
That's an interesting concept. That homophobia may not equal bigotry.
Well, I think they can be separate.
Yeah. I knew this fundamentalist Christian lesbian who was as bigoted against homosexuals as anyone. But she also missed everything about her old girlfriend. And she was really lonely because she just couldn't find a man she was attracted to.
It must be harder on women to be lesbians. I mean, if they can't fulfill that mother instinct.
Some do. I just read in the paper about a lesbian who had a child. Now the father wants custody, and the judge said she couldn't see a gay person raising a child.
That's discrimination right there in the courts. You should do a film about her, Gordon.
No, she lives out where you guys went to grad school. And I'm just too busy with Jeff's and my movie.
Aren't you continuing at Tintagel?
Oh, I'm so sick of Professor Maudre. I'm looking to transfer to the Monterey Institute of International Studies. So, Jeff, why don't you go out there and do a movie about this woman?
I can't afford to go out there.
We have a little bit saved. You can have it.
I couldn't do that.
This film would really be important to me, personally.
You didn't ask Jeff if it'd be important to him.
Yeah, well, I'm not really interested in documentaries, but I would like to support her.
Well, if I cajole you, your heart won't be in it, Jeff. You'll have to decide. But remember, money is not the issue. To a point.
Yeah. You know, I'd like to do this. What's the woman's name?
Katrina something or other. If you check with cable access about video equipment, I'll make a couple phone calls and see if I can find out who she is and if she's interested.
Hi, can I help you?
Yes, I'm Jeff Adams. I'm here to see Katrina Maudre.
You're that filmmaker?
Yeah.
Caddy, the filmmaker's here, and he can't pronounce your last name. I'll be there in a minute. She'll be right here. Come on in.
Thanks. Excuse me, but how is her last name pronounced?
Maudre.
I knew a Maudre once. She was a professor at Tintagel. In fact, she kicked me out of grad school.
That sounds just like something Caddy would do.
What do...
Hello, Jeff. I see you finally made your dream come true. Here you are, a filmmaker.
Professor Maudre.
Please, call me Caddy. We can drop some of the formalities. Please, sit down.
Actually, I just wanted to touch base and tell you I was in town. But right now, I have another appointment. I really have to go, but I'll call you back soon. Nice seeing you again, Caddy, and nice meeting you,
Virginia.
Virginia. Well, I'll call you back soon.
We'll never see him again.
He said you kicked him out of grad school.
I gave him a chance to get back in, but he wasn't willing to take it.
I can imagine.
Don't start.
Oh, no. I'm on your side. I'm sure he deserved it. What did he do anyway?
That's privileged information, Ginny.
I'm sure it is. You're so cute when you get mysterious.
I'm cute anyway.
That's true.
You're kidding. Maudre? Oh, man. Maudre, a lesbian. How could she be an ultra-conservative?
Well, I'm not...
An ultra-conservative lesbian? She sold out her people. That's the only explanation.
Maybe it's just...
That'd be a good thing to find out, Jeff.
But if she's...
Are you going to ask her about if she's...
Why the hell does everyone always interrupt me? If
Well,
people...
you've got to learn to stand up for yourself. One of your problems
Then
is
I'll
that you
stick up for myself now.
Okay. You have the floor.
Okay.
So, what did you want to say?
I forgot.
So what are you going to do? You going to help her because she's a member of an oppressed minority? Or are you going to not help her because she's the bitch who kicked you out of grad school?
Well, I don't...
I think you should leave her be.
Monica, I'd like to think of myself as a good person, and as such, I don't think I can refuse to do this.
You're not a good person, Jeff. I'm sorry, Jeff, but you're just a person. You're bad at chess, you stutter a lot, and you get angry. You were going to buy a gun and kill Maudre, remember?
I'm not sure I could have gone through with it. The whole idea made me sick to my stomach.
But you were angry enough to think about it. You hate her, Jeff. I understand. I hate her too. But you hate her too much to spend time with her on this film.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. I'll just forget about the whole thing.
Always remember that life throws us certain curves, but basically it's full of pawns and battle lines.
Oh, Caddy, what about love?
Love is a part of that, Jenny.
As in love and war?
Love and war are part of this. So are raking the leaves. By pawns, I mean the things you manipulate in life, not to help them, but to satisfy yourself. By battle lines, I mean the goals you have vis-a-vis the forces of opposition. They exist in everything. You want to read a book, but there's too much noise. You want to sleep, but there's too much on your mind. Pawns and battle lines don't have to be life and death struggles.
Leave it to a professor of international politics to use symbols of war and intrigue to describe everyday events.
I do have that propensity.
Have fun with her, Jeff. You should end up with a very interesting film.
It'll be a video, actually.
I'll be back at 10 o'clock. Bye, honey.
Bye. So, Jeff, to tell you the truth, I believed you wouldn't be back.
I needed to do some soul searching.
I assume you were quite angry at me after our final encounter at the university.
Well, yeah, I was, but it was one of those blessings in disguise. Now I'm doing what I've always wanted to do, writing and filmmaking.
Video making. You corrected Jenny.
Well, video is technically correct, but I often use the terms film and video connotatively. Video to me has a connotation of cold technology. Film is warm and emotional. As a writer, I've been training myself to be connotative.
That's very commendable. Beware, however. Some people are not so educated to understand connotativeness. They cannot understand its value. Jenny is not so educated. Her gifts lie elsewhere. She could understand connotation if she were so instructed. However, you could see the truth whether she called it a film or a video. So why did you correct her?
I'm not sure.
Perhaps you're emotionally distracted because of your anger at me. Or because we're much more conservative than you. Perhaps because we're lesbians. Maybe as a man you have a hard time homogenizing thought and feeling. One moment this is a video, cold technology. The next it's a film, warm and emotional.
Your discourse reminds me of the international relations classes at Tintagel.
Well, Jeff, we have something in common after all. Each of us brings our work into our everyday lives. You with your connotations, and me with international relations. Our work is a valuable part of what defines us. You had never alluded to international relations in discussions at Tintagel, not like the other students. But you do allude to your work as a writer, which shows you have not fallen from glory as you might have once thought, but you've fallen into your own special niche.
I've thought that a lot.
Tell me how you'd like to shoot your film.
I'll just turn on the camera and ask you some questions.
I see.
Tape is now rolling. So, tell me what led to your losing custody of your child.
Well, when my husband Eric learned I was gay, he felt he could no longer continue in the marriage. He divorced me.
Why were you married if you're gay?
Because homosexuality was not totally consistent with my conservative ideology.
So you hadn't come out?
Actually, by then, I had accepted my own sexual orientation. This is unusual for a young ultra-conservative, but I found it something to celebrate. Coming out was another story. Sharing intimacy with another woman, that was another story. Not procreating the species, well, that was unacceptable. And I felt I could only do it in a heterosexual marriage.
Did you feel you were living a lie?
No, I didn't. If I had been engaged in gay bashing, then yes. But as it was, I felt like God and I had a little secret between us. And I felt comfortable with that.
How did God feel?
From what my heart told me, I believe God was happy too.
So what changed?
What changed was Eric's efforts to force a gay church to close down. I could never accept that, because to me, churches are not an establishment of man, but of God. And God has the right to minister to homosexuals in his own way. I felt it was good for the community to have gays learning Christian values rather than be alienated from them. Eventually, I felt the only way I could make a stand was to reveal my secret. Once Eric learned of my sexual orientation, he divorced me and tried to gain custody of our child. Even though I had never been a practicing homosexual, he claimed he could not morally allow his natural offspring to be raised by someone he felt lived in sin. The court agreed, and I'm appealing.
This judgment might harm other gay parents.
That's why I must win this. It's more than my family's life. It's the life of each gay parent in the country. The legal system in this country is based very strongly on precedents. Did you know that?
I've always thought that was unfair.
Ever hear someone say, if I make an exception for you, I'll have to do so for everyone? Well, the idea there is fairness. That's why our winning is important for more than just my child and me. For the same reason, I believe Eric is not interested in the welfare of the child, but in his ideals of Christian morality. He wants to go to heaven and will do anything he believes necessary to win points.
The child is a pawn, just as you were describing earlier.
Yes.
Could you say that you, too, are using the child as a pawn?
Yes, a pawn for all gay parents, for Ginny and me to fulfill our maternal instincts, and simply for a recipient of our love. Don't fool yourself about love. The giving of love is not altruistic. It is very, very selfish. One gives love because one has the need to do so. It is not a sacrifice.
So, if the child is a pawn in any event, then Eric using the child as a pawn is itself not the issue.
Correct. The issue is, do gay parents have the right to raise their own child? In fact, do same-sex couples have the right to raise any child? I believe the answer to both is yes. That's the issue.
You mentioned Eric's Christian morals. You too have very strong Christian morals. You and I, in fact, are as opposite as two people can get ideologically. You're perhaps as conservative as he is.
More conservative.
Doesn't that pose a dilemma for you?
When I was at the most impressionable period of youth, I was very conscious of the wrath of God, a God who could damn you for simply being evil. Before I was a teenager, I knew I was different. When I was 14, I knew why. But I hadn't been damned. That's when I realized that bigotry and vengeance were mortal failings. All God required of us was to love him, and through that love to find community in each other. Most Christians find offense in a great many human actions and traits which, in the Bible, were used to illustrate a point. They see the text, but miss that underlying point.
That must be a painful thing. I mean, ultra-conservative people, that's your community. Yet a central part of you is alienated from them.
It is unfortunate. I believe in group loyalty and self-sacrifice, and conservative Christians often sacrifice personal wisdom to follow the teachings of others. I understand the emotions that drive a person toward this, the need to put yourself in a group. You derive power from the group. How could someone not be influenced by that? I would go so far as to say my current estrangement is not so much a result of morals as it is personality. Conservative Christians who condemn gay people are insecure in their own faith, and, as I indicated earlier, need to rack up points to feel safe from damnation. The Christian community should be finite, with well-defined boundaries, so we can control our community. The proof we don't have that is the belief that outsiders can destroy our way of life. Jews had a threat from outside for thousands of years. They did not survive by changing the laws of society, but by an abiding loyalty to their chosen lifestyle.
Caddy, you sound a lot more liberal than you let on being.
Why do you say that?
You seem to be against the Christian Coalition's efforts to change the laws of society, the so-called contract with the American family and so on. Laws that tyrannize people who don't accept their religion.
I think you missed the point here, Jeff. I simply believe in boundaries.
But in grad school, you told me I needed to, how did you say that again? Cultivate an abiding loyalty to the government. Now that sounds different than what you're saying today.
What I told you in graduate school was in the context of working in the field of international relations. If the issue had been how to live your life on a daily basis, I would have given you different advice. I believe in group loyalty and strict boundaries. I also agree that, to a certain point, there are no strict boundaries, and laws in larger society are necessary. We must be careful, however, about making laws based upon emotional insecurity. I'm against flag desecration, But should it be outlawed in the Constitution? Perhaps, but the motivation is important. So, am I talking you out of videotape?
Actually, well, I didn't put a tape into the machine.
You mean you forgot a basic thing like that?
That is, I did it on purpose. I was so angry at you for kicking me out of grad school that I was waiting to tell you that I never intended to videotape you. I just wanted to jerk you around the way you jerked me around. But after talking with you, I regret it. I'm no longer angry. I see you as a person with some depth. I'll put a tape in right now and we can start over if that's okay.
Oh, Jeff. Put that tape back into your bag.
I'm sorry, Caddy. I wish I hadn't done that.
I'd like you to return to calling me Professor Maudre. This was a very childish thing, and I'm very upset about it. For you to come into my house and show such total disregard for my problems in order to exact revenge is unacceptable.
I know, I'm sorry, and I wish...
Being sorry is not the point, Jeff. You see, how am I supposed to trust you now? We're working on a documentary that could have us working together for years. What will you do in 36 months? Will you have a sudden surge of anger as you remember the past again? Will you suddenly feel that my loyalty to conservative Christianity is just too threatening to the liberal Jeff Adams?
Well, I don't...
Pack up your equipment, Jeff. Leave my house. I'll find a documenter I can trust.
So, she did it to you again, huh, Jeff?
No, Monica. This time I did it to her. After all this time of wanting revenge, I finally got it.
So that's the whole reason you decided to do the video after you found out who she was?
I suppose so.
You used Gordon's and my money just to seek revenge.
At the time, I kind of thought you might go for it.
I would never go for revenge. Certainly not against someone I found out was a member of an oppressed minority and lost her baby because of it.
I really hadn't...
You used me, Jeff. Oh, man. This was not right.
I feel really bad. I guess I just didn't look far enough ahead to see the consequences of what I was doing. I've never been very good at that.
Well, you better get good at it. You better talk to me more about things you want to do. I am good at looking ahead. We're friends. I won't judge you. I just want to help you.
Thanks, Monica. I really appreciate that.
Here, have a cinnamon roll. I made them just last night.
Cat! Catty, where are you?
I'm over here.
How is my little movie star?
The movie's off.
What happened?
Jeff Adams came here to learn a lesson in wisdom and compassion, and I taught him.
Are you going to explain that one to me?
Not today. However, you'll be happy to know he's on our side.
I thought he was anyway.
Well, he wasn't. But in 2 months, should we decide to ask him to return, I'm very confident, we'll find that he's a documenter we can trust.
Each Turn was written and produced by Bill Olson. The associate producer was John Townsend. Episode 8, Pawns and Battle Lines, was directed by Ruth Wendell and Bill Olson, and starred John Townsend as Jeff Adams, Joan Wheeler as Katrina Maudre, Deirdre Kay as Monica, Jay Blake as Gordon, and Judy Gallus as Ginny. The music was by John Wright. The theme was by Bill Olson and John Wright, and was sung by Robert Lilligren. Production assistance was by Chris Freeman. My name is Siobhan Parnicky. The producers wish to thank CTV Roseville and Cable Access St. Paul, both in Minnesota. All persons and situations in this radio drama are fictitious. Any similarities to actual persons living or dead is strictly coincidental. Each turn is copyrighted 1996 by Bill Olson.